leaderships of the Palestinian people, my people, by the way, and I have the authority to say this. If they disown me, if they label me as a traitor, they can say whatever they want to say. I sacrificed a lot for the sake of Palestine, of Islam, even of Hamas. I spent 27 months in Israeli prisons. I grew up witnessing the first Palestinian Intifada, and I had no idea what was going on. As a child, I was fed with hatred that Israel was our enemy, and Israel was the source of our suffering, while the Palestinian leaderships, from Yasser Arafat to Mahmoud Abbas to Abu Jihad, all of them were sitting in Tunisia, spending billions of dollars. In the meantime, they were sending children to die, throwing stones, facing Israeli soldiers. I was one of them. They used us. They sent us to the slaughterhouse. They wanted us to die. The shepherd thought, how many sheep I'm going to sacrifice today to get the attention of the world, so maybe we get some more funds. So they decided to slaughter 100 sheep, 200 sheep. Then Hamas came later on, 20 years later, and they did the same thing, using children and women as a human shield in Gaza Strip. Then we have now a new mask for the shepherd, and written on it BDS, to manipulate the international community, create chaos. They are very good at doing that. Whether you call it intifada, you create chaos. In a state of chaos, you distract everybody, and the thief knows how to find a way. Same thing now, on a global scale. They are manipulating the friends of Israel, the only democracy in the Middle East, the only true democracy. While the shepherd, by the way, is not legitimate anyway. You know, somebody there sit here in this house of shame. I agree with you, Mr. Daniel. I agree. They don't represent the Palestinian people anyway. Who are you representing? The Palestinians in the West Bank or the Palestinians in the Gaza Strip? You are representing greed. Wearing the mask with what so-called Palestinian cause. You're a liar. You're a Lucifer. And at some point, you will be unmasked. If they were sincere and truthful in their approach towards peace, they would go and educate the Palestinian people, first of all, of the actual history, not their history. To compare Israel to apartheid of the South Africa. This is no comparison. The state of Israel, I know terrorists when I spent time in prison who had blood on their hands of Jewish people, and they had the right to go to schools and study and achieve higher degrees from Israeli schools. In Jerusalem, the Israeli government give the Muslims the right to worship on Temple Mount, and in the meantime does not give the right to the Jewish people to practice their religious freedom on Temple Mount. Me saying it somewhere else. The sheep thinks that the shepherd their best friend. The shepherd provides water, food, and creates the illusion for the sheep that it's protector. sometimes wearing a mask, a political mask, in the West Bank or Tunisia or other locations, sometimes wearing an ideological and religious mask in Gaza or maybe other capitals of the Arab world. They have their own way to deceive the sheep and make the sheep dependent on them. But unfortunately, by the time the sheep realized that the shepherd was not their best friend or the protector of their interest, they're already in the slaughterhouse. This is the reality of what's happening in the Middle East.
So guys, recently I did a research regarding to the drama where they between Israel and Palestine. You know, say then they fight now, and this thing done already take the world attention. We be say a lot of people they concerned about their safety. But I talk muchly about this stuff, explain what Hamas are, the Palestinians, the Israel, where the Israel they, where the Palestine they, where the Hamas they. I talk say the Hamas then be terror organization. We be say then they is, we be say then they Palestine, but where the Palestine government deny say they don't know much about them. But the fact where we they know say then get connection. You know say as Nigeria know say those people wey cause Boko Haram then get connection with Nigeria government. Now so those people where they call Hamas get connection with Palestine president, but they know they do them publicly. Now the thing will happen. Be say this Hamas will be like Boko Haram. Now them launch attack to Israel on October 7. We be say a lot of people buying. And since then, now Israel don't they do self-defense to make sure say then they attack those people. May they not find them. Now in European Parliament they don't open door now say even though as the world don't recognize Hamas as a terror group, those people will be say then they their country then still they suffer as people will be say then they born they suffer Boko Haram. Now so Palestine we be say Hamas they their place, they also they suffer from the Hamas wahala. Now if you come out there they support Hamas because say you be Muslim and Hamas get their own agenda. I talk on that video say the agenda will be say Hamas get, we say they want to capture Israel and turn Israel to Islam. A lot of people come to my comment section, you are lying, you are do this. Una sense no they correct. Go do more research about things. Go to your Google, go read. Now so make you read, now make them create Google for you. Go search, say waiting be the agenda of Hamas on Israel. If the thing where it bring for you different from waiting I they tell you, then you go no say I they lie. But you no do any research because say you be Muslim, you just come, you are lying, you are doing this. Una mind no go touch grant as una know they do research for una life. We be say now to just rush come comment section to rant now una know. Now I don't bring another video for you. We go shed more light on top the things we be say they happen for Israel. We be say for European Parliament now they don't talk this thing. Hear the woman when they talk and we go come back and analyze them. Take a look at the video.
A senseless tragedy has shocked us all. A hospital in Gaza, sheltering hundreds of wounded people, was turned into a hell of fire. The scenes from Al-Ali Hospital are horrifying and distressing. There is no excuse for hitting a hospital full of civilians. All facts need to be established, and those responsible must be held accountable. In this tragic hour, we must all redouble our efforts to protect civilians from the fury of this war. And let me express my condolences to the families of the victims of the terrorist attacks in Brussels and Arras. Tragically, we see that terror is resurfacing again. It is also terror that brings us here to this debate. The heinous terror attacks of Hamas on Israel. What we have seen in the kibbutz Kfar Aza is pure evil. The blood witness of horror, the burned houses, the abandoned children's toys that no child would touch ever again. Hamas terrorists slaughtered over 1,400 men, women, children, and babies in one day for one single reason: because they were Jews just living in the state of Israel with the explicit goal to eradicate Jewish life. Israel has the right to self-defense in line with international law. Hamas are terrorists, and the Palestinian people are also suffering from that terror, and we have to support them. And there is no contradiction in standing in solidarity with Israel and acting on the humanitarian needs of the Palestinian people. I have visited Israel many times in my life, but this time I saw a nation that is shocked to the core. I was struck to hear the same request from all the people I spoke to, from President Herzog, Prime Minister Netanyahu, all forces in the unity government, from families of the abducted. They all asked for solidarity and clear words. And this is the least we can do for the people of Israel. This horror calls for a united response from us as human beings, as defenders of a free world, as Europeans where hate, terror, and racism have no place. Europe stands with Israel in this dark moment. This is the essential starting point, and I believe it was important to pass this message of solidarity in person in Israel just days after the attack. Only if we acknowledge Israel's pain and its right to defend itself will we have the credibility to say that Israel should react as a democracy in line with international humanitarian law. And that is crucial to protect civilian lives, even and especially in the middle of a war. We first have to listen if we want to be listened to. And indeed, during my visit, I discussed Israel's efforts to protect civilian lives. There can be no hesitation on our side. Europe will always be on the side of humanity and of human rights. Allow me to update you on our work to address this dramatic situation and the broader crisis that Hamas has unleashed. Let me begin with the humanitarian situation, which is getting worse by the hour. Humanitarian aid must urgently reach Palestinians. This is why we have decided to immediately triple our humanitarian aid to civilians in Gaza, and we have launched an EU humanitarian air bridge to Egypt to bring life-saving supplies to humanitarian organizations on the ground in Gaza. The first 2 flights are taking place already this week, carrying humanitarian cargo from UNICEF. We have deployed our staff and we are working with UN agencies to ensure that this aid can reach those in need. The European Union has always been the largest international donor to Palestine, and this will not change. But as the situation on the ground evolves, it is also essential that we urgently and carefully review our financial assistance for Palestine. EU funding has never gone to Hamas or any terrorist entity, and it never will. What Hamas has done has nothing to do with the legitimate aspirations of the Palestinian people, so it was good to hear President Abbas' clear words that came out on Sunday evening. My second point is about the regional situation. Hamas' actions have major geopolitical implications. We know that they risk affecting the historic rapprochement between Israel and the Arab countries. But there is nothing inevitable in this. Instability can be contained. Dialogue between Israel and its neighbors can and must continue. So this time of war must also be a time of unrelenting diplomacy, a moment to engage even more closely with Israel and with other countries in the region. I have been recently talking to several Arab leaders, including the King of Jordan, the President of the UAE, as well as the President of Egypt. All were very clear about the importance of our EU funding, and the European Union, with its massive funding, we are the largest donor, has not only leverage, but also has a stake in it. And thirdly, we are seeing a rise in anti-Semitic incidents, including here in Europe. Synagogues have been vandalized. Hate speech and fake news are spreading at worrying speed. And this is something that we simply cannot accept. It is our shared responsibility to make sure that our dark past does not return. We have to protect Jewish life in Europe. In these years, we have put the fight against anti-Semitism and all hate crimes at the heart of our action. Thanks to our collective work on the Digital Services Act, we now have laws to take down illegal content online and contain the spread of disinformation. And we are now using them for the first time ever. We have already launched an investigation in relation to X, formerly known as Twitter. They must comply with the obligation to counter the spread of terrorist propaganda and hate speech. Because in Europe, there is no place and zero tolerance for hate, whether online or in our streets. We have also stepped up our work to ensure the physical security of Jewish communities. We have already increased EU funding for the protection of places of worship, such as synagogues. And at the beginning of the mandate, we proposed to add hate crimes and hate speech to the list of EU crimes that must be sanctioned all across our union. Our proposal is still blocked by some member states, but it cannot wait any longer. It is time now for member states to act and to move on. Europe's history is a history of diversity. Jewish values have shaped our common European values. Among others, Jewish culture has for centuries enriched our common European culture. And this must continue to be the case. European Jews must be free to wear kippah or Star of David in our streets, and to light our cities with the candles of Hanukkah in their windows. And every European must be free from fear. We must make good on Europe's promise to be united in diversity, to be a safe place for all Europeans. Honourable members, this is the moment for all of us to come together, to join forces against terror in all its forms, and to do what is right. I will go now back to Brussels to join a commemoration ceremony for the victims of the recent terror attack in Brussels. I thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much. And now we go to the speakers of the political groups, starting with the EPP Group, President Manfred Weber.
Welcome back, guys. Now you don't see wetin me I dey talk, you don't hear wetin the woman talk, wey in talk from the beginning say even the Palestine wey be say the Hamas dey their country, then they suffer from this thing. Not to talk of those people wey be say dem dey attack. Na everybody na im dey suffer for terror. No go support terror say you be Muslim, you be this. E get one time wey be say one guy from I think na New Zealand, na the guy dey, na Christian no. This guy carry ta and he go out there, go inside mosque, dey kpai them. Go, he dey show the thing for live video for Facebook. I watch am live. I think this thing happened in 2000 and maybe 17, 18 like that. I can't really figure out when the thing happened, but like that. This guy in New Zealand, he carry this thing. They kpai people for mosque, they kpai people for church, they kpai people for street. He get when in bullet come finish, you go think say you dey watch war film. Na real film. Na only single guy, no be two, no be three. Wey he show the thing for live video. Now the guy na Christian no. We be say they later catch him. He can say in the fight for Christianity. Now as I be Christian, I make I come dey support that guy. Where they kpai people say the thing when they do, they fight for Christian because say they fight for Christian. No be this. Bad na bad. If person do wetin no good, accept say he do wetin no good. Or you be a Muslim, no go make you dey support Boko Haram because wetin they do no be good thing. Hamas na terror. Accept say na terror and move on with it. No come dey come here, come dey tell me rubbish say dem be this, dem be that, dem be another thing. If na come this place, come dey tell me all this thing again. Una mind no go touch ground o. Una mind no go touch ground because una no dey get sense. Go dey think and dey do more research to know. You can just come to comment section to rant and say nonsense. Make una no let me vex o. Anyway, that's just the update we say I get for you. Bye.